I saw this video about white privilege that Goodfellow made a response to on his channel and thought I'd make a response to it as well. There is a link below to Goodfellow's response video and the original video as well, plus all the sources for my response. Let's get into it.
White privilege.
Okay, first up, this is about white privilege. It's not gendered white privilege, so no male or female distinction. And there is no economic distinction as well. So no poor, middle class or rich people in their definition of white privilege. Basically they're saying anyone with white skin, no matter their gender or economic status, has it better than any person with darker skin. Please remember this as we go through the video.
You may not be aware if you have it, but you sure as hell know if you don't. White privilege refers to the benefits white people get from society that people of color don't. It's walking into a store and not being followed on the suspicion you might steal.
I worked as a security guard for 5 years and worked under a loss prevention officer for a department store, and let me tell you, I was told many times to follow people around the store by the loss prevention officer. Sometimes the person was white, sometimes black, sometimes Asian, and sometimes Arab. It did not matter who the person was, what the colour of their skin was, or their gender. If they acted in a suspicious way, I was told to follow them. There is no privilege in loss prevention.
It's wearing baggy pants and a backwards hat and not being labeled a gangsta. And it's not being harassed by the cops.
So you're saying white people are not harassed by the cops? Let's have a look at this article from the Daily Mail. Former Philadelphia drug squad cop admits to taking cash and planting evidence for decades. Jeffrey Walker told jurors on Tuesday that the Philadelphia police drug squad targeted white college boy, khaki pants types, easy to intimidate. Witnesses have said the squad stole as much as $80,000 at a time during illegal raids marked by threats of physical violence. A disgraced ex-police officer testifying against his drug squad colleagues acknowledged on Tuesday that he stole drug money, planted evidence, and lied on police paperwork too many times to count. Jeffrey Walker told jurors that the Philadelphia Police Department drug squad targeted white college boy khaki pants types who were easy to intimidate. This matches the description of some of the drug dealers who have testified in recent weeks in the federal police corruption trial. I'm just going to skip down to the end of the article. You can find it in the sources below this description bar if you want to read the rest of it. More than 160 drug convictions have been overturned since Walker pleaded guilty, and scores of civil rights lawsuits are pending against Walker and the defendants. How many of the 160 were white college boy, khaki pants types? These boys are not privileged.
But what does it mean to you? What is white privilege?
In my opinion, I would say that white privilege is a luxury that white people have of not being judged off top.
Isn't this a video about white privilege? Have you not just judged all whites saying they are privileged? Is this guy privileged? Or this one? Or this one? How about this woman? Do any of these homeless people look privileged to you? I could sit here for hours just showing you pictures of homeless white people, and that would be enough to show you that white privilege does not exist. But I have to deal with the rest of the people in this video. Let's move on.
You know, it's probably subtle, but with what's happening lately, it's really hard to miss or to think that it doesn't exist, right?
I have no idea what this guy just said. He just strung a bunch of words together and ran with it.
Does nobody care about this kind of stuff, man?
Yes, they do. I think they do, especially now in terms. You don't?
I really don't. I mean, it is what it is, you know?
Does white privilege exist?
Absolutely.
What is it?
It's the ability to have our kids playing in a park and play with a toy gun and not get shot.
White people who have toy guns get shot by the police as well. This is not a privilege anyone has. If you are brandishing a weapon in public, even if it's a toy, there is a good chance that you will end up shot by police, no matter what your skin colour is. Let's have a look at a white boy who got shot by police for being outside with a toy gun. There is another article I will not read that is down in the sources for this video. It is for a white Latino boy that was shot 7 times because of a toy gun. Check it out if you have the time. Battle Creek 14-year-old with toy gun who was shot by police, hospitalised in serious condition. A 14-year-old with a toy semi-automatic handgun who was shot Saturday by a Battle Creek police officer is in serious condition Sunday at Bronson Methodist Hospital in Kalamazoo. Nicholas King is in the Pediatrics Intensive Care Unit, the hospital said. The shooting occurred about noon Saturday outside the drive-through party factory. Police were responding to a call that a man carrying a black pistol was running through bushes near the store. The officer who arrived on the scene found a young man crouched down near the store, the news release said. The officer advised the suspect to show his hand, and the suspect produced what appeared to be a large caliber handgun from his clothing area. The officer fired a single round, and the suspect dropped the weapon and ran. Officers located the suspect a short distance away and requested a medical response for an apparent gunshot wound, said the release. Further investigation revealed that the weapon was not real, but was a replica of a Smith & Wesson semi-automatic handgun, the release said. This young white boy has no privilege.
Do you think white privilege exists?
Definitely. It's basically a ticket to anything that everybody else is excluded from because of your skin color.
Give me one current day example of something that people that don't have white skin are excluded from. Just one.
Do you think you benefit from that?
Absolutely.
How so?
I can expect to be treated respectfully, and I can expect to be taken for who I am without people thinking about my skin color often.
If you treat people nicely, they'll generally treat you nicely back. If you're a black person and someone treats you poorly even though you've treated them well, chances are they might be having a bad day, or they might be racist. Who knows? That still has nothing to do with white privilege.
It's fucked up.
Here's how great it is to be white. I could get in a time machine and go to any time, and it would be f***ing awesome when I get there. That is exclusively a white privilege.
Louis C.K. was born in Washington, D.C. Go back in time while being in Washington, D.C., and you would get drafted to both world wars. His family moved him to Mexico when he was 1 year old. Go back in time in Mexico and you face the Mexican Revolution, where an estimated 1.5 million people died. Louis C.K. also has some Jewish people from Hungary in his ancestry. I don't think I need to go into detail about what would happen if you were to go back in time as a Jewish person from Hungary. I'm sorry, Louis C.K. No one gets a free pass. You go back in time and either you suffer or you see your ancestors suffer. It won't be awesome when you get there, and suffering or dying is not a white privilege. It's no one's privilege.
I got called the N-word the other day. I couldn't really do anything due to the fact that, if I did anything, I may get shot by the police. So, that's white privilege. Some people can do certain things that, African Americans really can't do.
So someone called you the N-word and you chose to do nothing about it. You could have called him or her a cracker if they were white, flipped him or her the bird, told him or her to get effed. You could have said anything you wanted to and then moved on. You chose not to speak. You not speaking does not make their act white privilege. Let me give you an example of what you could have done. Do you remember this woman? Her name is Janelle Ambrosia. And on May 30th, 2014, she was filmed by the person she was attacking while repeatedly calling him the N-word. The video was uploaded to the internet and it went viral. She was doxxed and her personal details were spread around the internet. Someone even made a Facebook page titled, "Janelle Ambrosia is a racist." The page had users who got her phone number and harassed her by phone. Let me just read this comment out. Thanks everyone for the support of this page. This is what happens when you think you can get away with this stuff. I heard her name when I first started this page. Within the first hour, people found out her phone number. Within the first 1.5 hours, people found out her address. I'm not supporting going to her house or calling her, but people are going to post your information if you do stuff like this. As someone previously stated in a comment I read, welcome to the cyber age. So does this white woman sound privileged to you? To add to all of this, a fake Twitter account was made in her name for the purpose of trolling and to incite more anger towards her for what she had done. And her kids were removed from her temporarily because the police feared for their safety because of the reaction she was getting from social media. I am not in any way defending what this woman has done. I'm just pointing out that she is white and has faced harsh consequences for her actions. She is not privileged.
What are some other examples of white privilege that you think you see in your day-to-day life where white people might get certain benefits from society that, you don't?
Banks. If you have bad credit or you have okay credit like I do, why can't you give me a chance to build my credit? They give it to the white man or the white woman real quick. Why you don't think that I want that?
So a bank loan relies on skin color more than credit rating? Right. If your credit rating is just okay, then maybe the banks see you as a risk. This has nothing to do with your skin color and everything to do with your ability to pay back the loan you're going for. Age is also a factor. If you want to take out a big loan and you are getting on in your years, the bank will refuse to lend you the money because there is a higher chance that you will not be able to pay it back.
There's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot that we have that we take for granted, and a lot of it has to do with race.
We're just going to intellectually denigrate and scold you for the abuse of your white privilege.
What's white privilege?
If you grew up white, how do you think your life might have been different?
Damn. Excuse me, that's a good question.
I'll probably have a better job than I have now. I'll probably have a better education, probably have better opportunities to get out the neighborhood and have a chance, and not be like stereotyped based on what my parents went through.
You think that's true? Being white will get you all those opportunities? There's a large amount of poor white people, homeless white people, middle-class white people, and rich white people. There are a lot of white people that do not have opportunities as well. The same can be said of black people in the West as well.
What would you do differently if you were a white guy for a day?
What would I do differently? I don't know, get money, get paid? I don't know.
It would be nice to just walk around and not feel judged all the time. If my boyfriend and I could both walk around and be white for a day together, that would be amazing. And to not be called, a nigger lover or something like that.
If I was a white dude for a day, I wouldn't really run into any issues during the daytime at all. I just kind of walk around and exist.
Look, if every single white person was rich and got to do whatever they wanted to do whenever they wanted to do it without consequence, then I would say yes, you have a point. But that's not the reality of the situation.
You should probably put a GoPro camera on an African American male, have him walk around. You'd have to be in my shoes though to feel it.
Thank you for watching.